Hey, it's Michael Day with the Daily Merge. Got a segment today, something that I really didn't expect to be covering, but you've left me no choice, social media. I have to jump in and give you my 2 cents. So this is my reaction to the reaction of the Super Bowl 50 halftime show. Now I'll preface this. I don't like Beyonce. I don't like her music. It's not to say her music's not good. I know a lot of people like it, and she's got a new album coming out, and everyone's excited. That's fine. I like Nickelback and dubstep, so, my musical palate's not refined enough for me to judge you, certainly, and I'm not going to. I just don't like it. It's not my thing. As for her being a celebrity, I don't follow celebrities close enough to care one way or another. She's fine. She doesn't bother me. Her presence doesn't upset me, but I'm not a fan by any stretch of the imagination. So I'm about as unbiased or impartial as you get when it comes to Beyonce. That's interesting because apparently that's not the case this week. The NFL and Beyonce and the network is taking a lot of heat because they allowed this halftime show to go on. And what you had is a group of black dancers that were dressed in military-style fashion with, the fist up or whatever it may be. And it's being said that that's obviously a call out to the Black Panther Party. And, that the Black Lives Matter movement is tied into the Black Panther Party. And it's all one big racist institution against white people. And I think that's ridiculous, because what is it based on? I hope it's not based on the fact that it was at the Carolina Panthers halftime show, because that would be ridiculous. But that's less ridiculous than the assumptions that we have to jump to get to the Black Panther Party without that. Clothing? That's it? Clothing and a hand signal? So I remember Destiny's Child videos back in high school, and they were often in, military-style fashion. And it was never thought of, they're aligning with the Black Panther, violent individuals in this musical group. Now, anyone who said that would have been laughed at. That's ridiculous. But now it's become a narrative that's being carried. Many people on social media are sharing it, and people are saying, that's a really good point. Why are they allowing the Black Panther? And that's ridiculous. That's inherently racist. Just because you wear a certain kind of clothing does not make you part of a violent political movement. I see a guy at Starbucks in the camo pants and a camo hat and a "Don't Tread on Me" T-shirt, and maybe even a gun on his back. In most states, that's legal. And I don't think that he's part of a violent political movement. I think he's crazy and probably mentally unstable. But I'm not like, I don't immediately take him to the people that want to actively take over our country in force. I just think he's a little off balance. And he's armed. He actually has a gun. So when you have a group of women that are wearing shorts or a shirt that you identify as military, and that must be, there it is, Black Panther Party. That's racist. That's crazy. You can't do that. But if I let you have that point, if I say, okay, all right, you're right, Beyonce is embedded in the Black Panther movement, and this is clearly a move to push the agenda of the Black Panther Party. And I'm not saying that. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. But if I give you that, what's the reaction? So I've seen a couple of memes, if you will, that, next year we're going to have the KKK do a halftime show. If you're equating the Black Panther Party to the KKK, you're so far out of touch that it's alarming. And if you're going to speak on racial issues, even just on Facebook, sharing stuff with your friends, you should at least have some semblance of an idea of what the fuck you're talking about. And when you tell me that the KKK and the Black Panther are two sides of the same coin, you're out of your mind. So I'm not going to sit here and say the Black Panther movement was peaceful, because it certainly wasn't. It was radicalized. It was violent at times. But there's two things to remember. The first is that it was, in many ways, a reaction to violence. It came at a time in history where black people were fed up with the injustices, the social injustices, and the racism that was so prevalent in the times where they were willing to go so far as to be violent. I'm not saying that's right. I'm not advocating for that. But you have to understand that it wasn't just an organic movement where a group of black people who were untouched and unbothered started looking at each other and go, we're better than white people, and went out and started causing hell. It was a reaction in these communities to the terrible things that white people were doing to them. But still, violent, and I'll give you that. But you compare that to the KKK, and it's night and day. The KKK was generations, a century of institutional lynchings by the thousands, castrations, mutilations, tortures, burnings, and just in the last generation, tying someone to the back of a car and just driving until their body disintegrates. Like, just horrible things that the KKK has done repeatedly, over and over again, pattern behavior. That's so far over the top of the most violent of the Black Panther movement that to equate those two is just, it's blatantly racist. You can't do that. You can't say, oh, they're both violent, they're both about supremacy. No. One is a violent reaction to violence. The other is just institutional violence where they genuinely believe they were superior in genetics. And I know those people are still out there. They still exist. I'm hoping that the next generation or two, they die off. But, man, we still see it flare up every now and again, right? But those are so distinct, and they're so different. And if you can't recognize the difference in severity, and the difference in how radicalized the views of the Black Panther Party is compared to the KKK, then you genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, need to shut the fuck up about racial issues, because you're painfully ignorant, and all you're doing is polluting the conversation. We're not in post-racial America. We're only 2 generations from segregation. We're still in a time where so many Caucasians are born to a nest egg and to middle class and to some semblance of wealth where they have a shot at college, and so many blacks don't have those same opportunities. And I'm not saying that they can't succeed and that it's all the system's fault for every failure and every poor black person, because every situation is different. But in the law of averages, guys, it's still not post-racial America. We're still not anywhere near equality, not equality in income, not equality in incarceration rate, in arrest rate, and the list goes on. And it's just something we have to deal with, and I'm not anti-white, right? I just think equality, and it's just something that as a society we all have to deal with and we all have to do better on. And when I see these reactions to women, black women dancing, and all of a sudden they're a violent political party, that's crazy. So when you see it on Facebook, unfriend that person or tell them, hey, take that shit down. That's not okay. That's not the kind of message that we want for this generation. We're not going to carry these views on any further. And it's just ignorance. And if there's anything I've said that you disagree with, by all means, if you can show sources and if you can cite and show me that Beyonce is deeply embedded with the Black Panthers and is trying to put together a military coup to overthrow America and enslave white people, I would love to see your evidence. That would be really fascinating to me, but I know it's not there. Stop being ignorant. Stop spreading these narratives that just divide us. All right, it was just a halftime show. Michael Day with the Daily Merge. We'll be back next time.